Do we have any volunteers?
May I try?
Yes, always. You know I love it when you answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did the crisscross method.
Okay, you did crisscross. I like it. So I'm just going to draw my little crisscross here for a second. Let's just make this bigger. Okay, cool. Crisscross. Tell me what to do.
So I find the multiples of 5 and 6.
All right. So what were my factor pairs for 5?
It was just 1 and 5.
Okay, so we've got a 1x and then we've got a 5x. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Cool.
And then
Okay,
for my
next
6,
one.
for my 6, I used a 2, and a 3.
Okay. And where did you put your 2 and where did you put your 3?
I put my 2 at the top and then my 3 at the bottom.
Okay, so let's have a look. So 1x times 3 is going to give us 3x. And 5x times 2 is going to give us 10x. And we are wanting negative 13x. So what do we have to do now? Because I love the 10 and I love the 3, but what signs do they have to be?
You are extremely close now.
Are they supposed to be a negative and a positive?
So remember, if this is a plus sign, then our signs have to be the same as each other. So we're going to have a negative and a negative because negative 10 minus 3 is going to give us negative 13. But you've done all the hard work. So it was just about signs. So then our brackets land up being x or 1x minus 2 and 5x minus 3. Okay, so just for everyone just to remember, if this is a plus sign, those signs have to be the same as each other, and they have to be the same as this middle sign. Okay.
Right. Chifio would like us to do the second method.
Sure, no problem. Let's go through the second method. Okay. So for the second method, I'm just gonna write it on the side and then I'm gonna erase it from there. So we've got, I should have given myself way more space, guys. That's what I should have done, but I didn't. Okay, so 5 times 6 is going to give us 30. So 5 times 6 gives us 30. And then we need to work with the factor pairs of 30. So we've got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10. And we can already see that 3 and 10 is going to give us the 13 that we are looking for. So we're going to have 5x squared minus 3x minus 10x plus 6. We're going to group the first 2 and group the second 2. So I'm going to take out an x and I'm left with 5x minus 3. And then here I'm going to take out a negative 2 and I'm left with 5x minus 3. And then I take out my common bracket. So 5x minus 3, x minus 2. Okay, so if we did the crisscross method, you'll have this light blue and the pink crisscross. And if you did the grouping method, you would be in green. Okay. So that is Dumasani and Kosi is new here. Welcome. We love new people.
Dumasani.
We hope that you have done some trinomials in class, so you're not feeling completely lost because we spent the whole of Tuesday working on these.
I must show you what you
Okay, so question 2. Just going to move this like this so that everyone can see it. And my hint to you earlier was, for those of you who were maybe not here yet, is don't fall for my trap. I have set a trap. Don't fall for it. And if you are comfortable with your answer or you want to give it a go, just let us know in the chat and we will call on you. Hi, Mongezi. Very nice to meet you.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Now that it's both negatives, does that mean my brackets have to be negatives as well?
No, because this is a negative over here, it means that I'm going to have one positive and one negative.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. See you, don't worry. It's nice to have you here. Because you sent that to me as a direct message instead of to the group, just as a just as a warning, in case you wanted to send it to the group, which I think you did. Yeah, Kabani, I'd love it if you gave the answer.
My answer is 2 into x minus 1.
Okay,
then-
so you have 2x and then minus 1. And then what's in your second bracket?
Oh, no, ma'am.
No?
Like, I factored out the 2 with 4, 10, and 6.
Beautiful. I was worried you'd fallen for my trap there for a second. Okay, we
And then I
first
said
factored out that
2x
2.
squared,
Good.
2x squared minus 5x minus 3.
Excellent. Well done. Okay, so the first thing we did there was take out our highest common factor. That was the trap that I set. Okay, excellent. Next step. What are my 2 brackets going to look like?
And then it's going to be, you have to put the 2 outside of the bracket.
good.
1.
Nice.
And then the first bracket, I said x minus 1.
Okay.
And then the second bracket is 2x plus 3.
Okay, so I like some of this, and then some of it I'm not like 100% behind, and I'm just going to show you why. We're just going to just do ourselves a little crisscross over here. Oh, sorry. So if I have an x over there, and then I have a 2x over here, and then you've put your 1 there, and you've put your 3 there. Okay, so let's multiply and see what happens. If I have x times 3, I'm going to land up with 3x. And if I have 2x times -1, I'm going to land up with -2. So what I land up with is 1x. I don't land up with -5.
Oh.
Mhm.
Do you see?
So,
So, but I really like that x and that 2x. They were
Okay,
just,
ma'am.
we need to play around with our others.
So the problem is the signs.
Yes, the problem is the signs.
Hint, you have the right factors as well.
Sir?
You have the right factors, just the wrong sign.
So they have to be both negative.
No, so remember, if this is a negative sign, I have to have 1 positive and 1 negative. So you were right that 1 has to be positive and 1 has to be negative. I just want to have a look here in the chat. Okay, I haven't missed anything.
Okay, no one yet.
Yeah, Ashlyn, I will do grouping once we're finished with the crisscross, I promise. So, Giovanni, your factors were right. The fact that you have 1 plus and 1 minus, that idea was right. That's why I said I like a lot about what you've done. There were things in the wrong place. My help to you.
Okay, miss, I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah, that's okay. Take your time. Yes, it is wrong because you haven't taken out your highest common factor of 2. With factorization, we always have to take out the highest common factor in our first step if we can. Okay, guys, I'm just going to help through this because we just because we need to get onto grouping. I don't want to rush anyone. So, yeah.
Can I please ask, was it going to be wrong if your highest common factor is 2x?
Yes, because there isn't an x over here, so I can't take x out of all 3 terms.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Okay, yeah.
ma'am, is the 2x in the answer, ma'am? The 2x is going to be -3 or +3?
No. So let's just have a look. Ashlyn, yes, if you take it in the second step, that's totally fine. Okay, so let's have a look here. What you were saying was great. You have your 3s and your 1s, which I really like. But we're going to put our 3 over here, and then we're going to put our 1 over here. So we are going to get 6x when we multiply 2x times 3. And then here I'm going to get 1x. And I need to be at -5. So that needs to be -6x plus 1x, which means this needs to be a negative, and that needs to be a positive. So inside my brackets, I'm going to have x minus 3, 2x plus 1. Okay. Let's just quickly go through our grouping method over here. So we have, I'm just going to just jump straight to this point over here. And we're going to multiply those two. So 2 times 3, or 2 times -3 gives us -6. So we're going to have 2x squared. Now we need to work with our factors of -6. So we can have 1 and 6, and we can have 2 and 3. And because it's a negative, we have to have 2 different signs. So we're going to say -6x plus 1x, and then we've got our -3. So 2, and now I'm going to do groupings. I'm just going to make this a square bracket. So I'm going to take out 2x, and I'm left with x minus 3. And here I'm just going to take out a 1, a plus sign, and say x minus 3. And then I have x minus 3, 2x plus 1. Okay. So those are our 2 trinomial questions to start off our lesson, with the crisscross method and with the grouping method. But remember, with maths, and I cannot stress this enough, with maths, the most important thing is practice. So although it's great that we have this time together in these lessons where we kind of work through things, this can't be your only practice when you're doing maths. So like if you're just sort of starting to understand trinomials, like on Tuesday, if you were just sort of starting to get them, then just do more in the evenings. Like do them until your brain is saturated with trinomials. That's the best way to get better at maths. It's just practice, 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 practice. Okay. Okay, but we do need to move on because we need to get into more grade 10 factorization. But today, the factorization we're going to be working on is grouping, which we've actually spoken about in the last couple of lessons. So I'm hoping that you land up finding it okay, because we've sort of been playing around with it for the last few lessons. So let's have a look. Okay. So in grade 10, we get a little bit sneaky, and we want you to factorize things sometimes that have more than 3 terms. So up to this point, we haven't really ventured further than that because we had trinomials, and then we had difference of squares, which is 2 terms, and we had highest common factor. But now we're going to do, well, what if we have 4 terms? Okay, and in this situation, we do grouping. So we've actually kind of spoken about grouping in our last lesson when we were looking at the grouping method of factorizing, but now we're going to talk about grouping just as itself. Don't worry if you're new and you're feeling a little bit behind, ask questions, and if you're feeling really behind, then please send Mr. Shongwe a private message, and then he will try and help catch you up as much as he can while I'm talking. Okay, so I'm going to do this first one with you, and then I'm going to let you try one. Grouping can be sneaky. I'm just going to put that right out there, okay? Grouping, sometimes we have trinomials involved. So sometimes we would have to group these 3 terms, and we would have 1 term. So we don't always only group 2 terms, and I will show you an example of that later on. Sometimes we have to do difference of 2 squares with 2 terms, and then like nothing for the other time. And sometimes we just have to pair up the right pairs. Okay, so sometimes we try and put something with something else and it doesn't really go. It's like if you try and date someone, but it wasn't really a good fit, and then you need to get out of the relationship as quickly as possible, and then you try date someone else. And that's exactly what we're going to do with grouping. We're going to try and date 2 terms together, and if it doesn't work out well, we're going to break them up and we're going to try and date it with someone else. So we're just going to be doing a whole little relationship building in grouping today. So the first one I'm going to try, because often often they try and help you in tests, and they will try and put them in the right order for you, unless your maths teachers are trying to be nasty to you. We're going to group our first 2 terms, and then we're going to group our second 2 terms. And we always try that first, and if it doesn't work, then we try something else. So if I'm looking at these 2 terms where I've got AC minus AD, who can take out a highest common factor for me and tell me what I would have left? Onaku?
A is your
Yeah.
highest common factor.
And then what would be left in the bracket?
C minus D.
Beautiful. Excellent. Okay. Nice. Now, let's look at the second 2 terms. What's going to be my highest common factor in my second 2 terms?
Positive B.
Yes.
Outside the brackets. And inside the brackets, C minus D.
Yes. Okay. So if we get to this point, guys, if we get to the point where we have a highest common bracket, then we know that we're on the right track. So our whole goal with grouping, oh, goodness, when we group, we want to get to a highest common bracket. Or we want to get to a difference of 2 squares, but we'll get to that later. Okay. And once we have a highest common bracket, it's really easy. We've been doing this since last year. All we have to do now is take out that highest common bracket. Okay. And we write what we have left behind. So we have C minus D, A plus B. Trish, do you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sorry. I thought you did because you were unmuted. All right, so that is our first one that we're going to try. Now, sometimes we may do grouping like this and we don't get the right pair. So we don't get a highest common bracket. And if we don't get a highest common bracket, we have to try and pair it up with something else. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, sure. Ashlyn, second step. All we're doing is we're taking out our highest common bracket. So when we take out, this is 1 term over here, and this is 1 term over here. So when we take out the highest common bracket, we write the bracket that is common in both terms, and then just cross it out for yourself so you know it's gone, and you write what you have left. So we have A plus B that's left over. Okay. So all we're doing there is taking out the highest common bracket. Cool. You feel ready to give one a try? I'm going to take the silence as yes. That's what silence means now. This means yes. Okay. Try this one for me. Your goal is to try and group them together. So find which 2 are going to go together and go from there. Sebo, how can I help?
Can I do it, please?
Yes, can we just give people a couple of minutes to try? Thank you. Okay, but when I call on you, I'll call on you in a minute or so, and then you can do this one for us.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just going to move up quickly, you guys. I will come back to that question. Don't panic. So yeah, can you take a picture of it so that I can move down? Okay, cool. Okay. Sebo, we're all yours. Tell me what to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, first we have to group. Ma'am, as three groups of this that you just need to know first, ma'am.
So, okay, so I grouped these 2 and I grouped those 2.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Did we do
first separate the, I'd say 2p plus p. Wait, no. P, the two P's, put it into one,
Okay.
separate it into one.
So for this one, the first step, what you're looking for is you need to tell me what's the highest common factor of each of these two things that I've highlighted. So what's the highest common factor in those first two terms that I've highlighted?
2, man.
Does 2 go into Q?
No, sorry, man. No.
Oh, I think Sebo rearranged them.
Okay, so Sebo, did you write it like this?
Yes, man.
Okay. Okay. And then did you link these two and these two?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the problem with that, so I'm going to show you what's going to happen if we do that. Which is, it's good that you're suggesting these things, but if we do it like that, we're not going to land up with a common bracket. So it's great to try these things, but when we know we're not going to land up with a common bracket, then we have to try and link two different things. Okay. Okay, but I see here that we've got some answers coming in the chat, so I'm just going to have a look through here. So good. Okay, so we're going to take out Nokobongo. Nice. We're going to take out a Q from these first two terms, and I'm going to be left with 2P minus 1. And then I'm seeing some right answers and some wrong answers here. I can take out a 2 from both of these terms. So I'm going to take out a negative 2, and I'm going to have in my bracket 2P minus 1. And be careful of the sign change here, because negative 2 times negative 1 is going to give me my positive 2, which I'm wanting over there. Okay. And so then we're going to take out our highest common bracket, which is 2P minus 1. And then I'm going to write out what I have left. So I've got Q minus 2. Okay. If you were feeling confused with this question, don't panic. We've just started grouping, so it takes time. And we're just going to keep kind of working from there. Do I have any questions? Let's see.
Ma'am,
Yeah, hello.
ma'am, the negative 2.
Yeah.
Okay. No, ma'am, I get it. No, thank you.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Okay, so the negative 1, yeah.
Ma'am, I don't understand where the negative 2 is coming from.
Okay, so when I'm looking at, I'm just going to erase these steps here so that we can sort of do it step by step. So everyone, it seems, is happy with the Q that we did over there. So I'm going to leave that Q over there. When I'm looking at these next two, can you see that my highest common factor of 4 and 2 is going to be 2? Can we see that 2 can go into both of those numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's a good start. But now the thing is, if I take out positive 2, right? So I'm going to take out a positive 2 because I've said 2 can go into both. I now know that this term here has to be negative 4p. So now this is going to have to be negative 2p, because when I multiply them, I have to get negative 4. And then this is going to be plus 1, which is going to just give me my 2 when I distribute that back. And that's fine. But the problem is that now I don't have a common bracket. So if you did do it like this, that's also okay. At this point, you can do a switcheroo, which we did a couple of lessons ago. And you can change that positive to a negative and change those around. And you could do a switcheroo. And then you've got a highest common bracket. So you can take out your highest common bracket and write what you have left. Okay. But if you're able to see that you can take out a negative 2 right in the beginning, then it makes it a little bit easier. Then you don't have to do a switcheroo. Is that
Yes,
making a
ma'am.
bit
Thank
more
you, ma'am.
sense?
Yes,
Are we all
ma'am,
happier?
definitely. Yes.
Good. Good, good, good. And well done for asking questions. That's how we learn. Okay, let's try another one. Move on down. Okay, so this one is a sneaky one. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a hint that the things we're going to do, we're going to group with those 2 and those 2. And I want you to think very carefully about what to do for the first 2 that I've grouped. So think about what we can do with those first two terms, because we can't take out our highest common factor. There's no highest common factor of those two terms.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
I think I have the answer, ma'am.
Okay, can you tell me what you did with those first two terms?
I did difference of two squares, ma'am.
Yes, well done. Difference of two
Well done.
squares. Beautiful. Okay, all right, go. I'm listening.
So, ma'am, I got A plus B, a bracket A minus B.
Excellent. And then what did you do with these two here?
I did nothing, ma'am. I just I added the bracket. I put it in
Excellent.
the bracket.
Okay, because sometimes we're like, oh, I need to have a bracket. You can just put a bracket there. As long as the signs aren't changing, then you're fine. Okay, beautiful. Next step.
Then, ma'am, I got A minus B as my common bracket.
Good.
And then I was left with A plus B.
Oh, so close. So close.
Wrong.
Your A minus.
Yeah.
Who can help here? What's
Me.
going to be in my second bracket?
In your second bracket, it will be A plus B plus 1.
Yes, the one.
That is
We can't
fantastic.
forget about the sneaky one that's chilling over here. Remember, there's a plus sign, and if there's just a plus and we haven't got anything else to write, remember there's a 1. There's that sneaky one, and we can't forget about that one. And so that is what our final answer lands up being.
Ma'am, I'm confused.
Okay, where are you getting confused, sweetheart?
From the part where you said we don't take out the highest common factor.
Okay, so the problem is that, so let's write another one like this. Let's say I have x squared minus y squared, and then I'm going to say plus x minus y, or let's say x plus y. Okay, if I have a look at this, okay, and I'm trying to do grouping, there's a couple of things that our brain may think about. So let's kind of talk through them. If you saw this in a test, you may think, oh, okay, I need to link those two because they both have x's, and I need to link those two because they both have y's, and then you could take out a highest common factor. So let's see what happens when we do that. Okay, so I'm going to link these two, and I'm going to link these two. Now what happens when I do that is I land up with something like this. Oh, okay. And that's fine. I've taken out highest common factors, but the problem is that this bracket is not the same as that bracket, which means I don't have a highest common bracket. And the whole purpose of grouping is to get to that highest common bracket. And so I now know that method doesn't work. So that's telling me, okay, I can't link those two. That relationship didn't work. That relationship didn't work. We have to break them up, which means I have to try and link these two and those two. Okay. So now if I know that I have to link x squared minus y squared, I can't take out a highest common factor. There is no highest common factor. There's nothing that can go into x squared and into y squared. And so my only option is to do difference of two squares. And when I do difference of two squares there, I would have x plus y, and I would have x minus y. And here, there's also nothing I can do. There's no highest common factor. There's nothing I can do. So I'm just going to write my plus sign, and I'm just going to put those two in a bracket. So I land up with x plus y, x minus y, plus x plus y. Now I have a common bracket because I've got x plus y there, and I've got x plus y there. So I can take out my highest common bracket. And remember, when we do that, we cross them off and we write what we have left. So I've got x minus y, and then I've got this plus sign, and I've got nothing else to write. So we write our plus 1. And you can write it like that, or you could write it like this. Both ways are totally fine. Okay, so those of you who are feeling confused, does it feel a little bit better now? Let me know.
Yes.
Are you feeling a bit better?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Guys,
ma'am.
remember, it's just practice. It just takes time. You'll get there. All right, good. Okay. Similar one. I've done some of the hard work for you. So if you have a look here, there's nothing for me to do with those two. They're already in brackets. So I've done that hard work for you already. Okay, so the only thing we need to focus on over here is those two over there.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
can I find the highest common factor here?
So there isn't anything that's going to go into 9x squared and into 4. I don't have something that's going to go into them. So if I can't do a highest common factor, then we have to think about what our other factorization options are. Oh, gosh, I'm in highlight mode. Hold on. So our first option is we always say, is there a highest common factor? And if there isn't, we say, okay, could I do difference of 2 squares? Difference, minus sign, 2 terms, square number. Looks positive to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you need more time or do you want me to go through it? If you need more time, just put the little hand up emoji for me. Canva, are you wanting to answer this one? Oh, no. Okay. No problem. I don't want to rush you.
Does the answer have 3 brackets?
The answer will have 3 brackets, yes. Well, I feel like I'm
Ma'am?
giving things away. Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, I think I have the answer.
Okay, I'm just going to give people a little bit more time to try.
Okay, ma'am.
Come back and say at some point there would be 3 brackets, but our final answer will only have 2. I don't know if that helps, but I hope it helps. Ooh, Seko. I like a lot of what I'm seeing, but there's something that I don't like. I'm like 98% happy.
I'm thinking.
Good? Thinking's good?
I'm using all my brain power right now.
It's fine because it's the evening. You don't need brain power after this class, so it's okay. You can use it all up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
Alright,
if Fense has the answer, that's great. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to go through this one just because it's quite a complicated one and I want everyone to understand.
Can we change the sign?
Change the sign. We're not allowed to change any signs in the question.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go through this step by step, guys. When I'm looking at this, these 2 brackets over here, there's nothing I can do. They are what they are. But if I'm looking at the 9x squared minus 4, I can see I can't take out a highest common factor, but I definitely can do difference of 2 squares because there's 2 numbers, there's a minus sign, and they're both square numbers. Okay, so that becomes 3x plus 2, 3x minus 2. Okay, that's what that pink one becomes. Now, let's look at the other side. These two are going to stay exactly the same. There's nothing that I can do to them because they've already been factorized for me. So I'm going to have 3x minus 2, x plus 3. Okay. Is anyone unhappy at this point over here? So did anyone struggle with getting to here, or is everyone happy?
We have Ayabonga and Uzi.
I struggled.
Okay, if you struggled, that's totally fine, but do you understand how we get to this point now?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
do.
We understand.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, now we're here. So we're at this point of it. Dumasani, what are you not understanding at this point here?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, for the question, ma'am, are we allowed to simplify it, or like, say for instance, are we allowed to also group like terms?
Yeah, so you could have multiplied this out and then worked with that, but you would have landed up trying to get back to the same. But you could have definitely multiplied that out and worked with a different way. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Dumasani, the way we go from 9 to 3 is we did difference of 2 squares. So it's the same as if I had like x squared minus 4. When I do difference of 2 squares there, I have x plus 2, x minus 2. So all I've done is I've square rooted that 9 to make it 3 and 3. Okay, that's how that 3 came about. Okay, so everyone should be, I haven't done anything fancy there. All I've done is I've done difference of 2 squares. That's all I've done there. Uyabongo, how can I help?
Ma'am, it's fine. I understand now.
Okay, Sebo, I see your hand there as well.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Okay.
the where the I believe did the plus come, the plus on the left side, did it come from the
That plus there.
splitting of 9x?
This
No,
this
ma'am.
plus over
No,
here.
ma'am. The plus. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, that's just our normal difference of 2 squares. So whenever we do difference of 2 squares, so like in this example over here, we always are going to have, so we have 2 terms, we've got a negative sign in between. We're always going to have 2 brackets. One bracket will be plus, one bracket will be minus. We square root our first term, that would be x and x. We square root our second term, we get 2 and 2. So this is just normal difference of 2 squares from grade 9. Okay, so all we're doing over there is we're doing our difference of 2 squares. It just looks a bit harder because there's numbers involved. Okay. From here, we just have to think, well, now what do we have? Well, we've got a highest common bracket. And as soon as we have a highest common bracket, we're allowed to take it out. So we're going to take out our highest common bracket. And then we're going to say, well, what do we have left? So I'm crossing out what I've used. And I've got 3x plus 2 on that side. And then on the other side, I've got x plus 3. So all I've done is I filled into my brackets what I had left over. I had that left over, and I had that left over. And then I just get to simplify inside that bracket. So I've got 3x plus x, which gives me 4x. And then I've got 2 plus 3, which gives me 5. I think that
Ma'am, is that the final answer, ma'am?
That's our final answer. That's where we're going to stop. So I think Seko, I'm sorry, I made it seem like yours was not 100% right, but Seko, yours was 100% right. That was absolutely beautiful. Okay, but guys, this is as hard as grouping can get. So it can't get worse than this. That's the important thing to take from this, which is a good thing. Hello?
Ma'am, please go over the last 2 steps.
Please, ma'am.
Okay, so all that's happening in this step over here, guys, is we took out our highest common factor, which was 3x minus 2. Okay, we took out that highest common factor. And whenever we take out a highest common factor, we then write what we have left. So in this term, what I have left is 3x plus 2. And what I have left in this term is x plus 3. Those are my two leftovers. Okay, so I had this left over here, which was there, and I had this left over here, which was there. And then the last step, all I did was I added my like terms. Okay, so I had 3x plus x, which gave me 4x, and I had 2 plus 3, which gave me 5. And that's our final answer there. Okay.
Ma'am,
yeah.
Ma'am, what about the plus sign there?
This middle plus sign?
Yes, ma'am.
It's right there. It's just moved one down.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. Okay, guys, I have to move on because we've been on this question for a little bit too long. So I'm just gonna move. We need to take a move. We're not gonna do that now. Okay, we're gonna try one like this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I don't mean to like try and rush you, but we do need to try and get through some of them. So sometimes we just have to accept that that's not a question for us, and that's also okay. Okay, can you please give this question a try for me? I'm going to help you out a little bit. We're going to group these two over here, and we're going to group those two over there. So remember, the first thing we do is we look at, can we take out a highest common factor? And if we can't take out a highest common factor, then we say, well, can we do difference of two squares? And if neither of those are an option, we look for a trinomial. So think about those three things as you're looking at this question. First one, can we take out a highest common factor? Second one, if we can't, can we do difference of two squares? Third, if we can do none of those, can we do a trinomial? Okay, to give that one a try. Was it Zipo? Do you have a question? No. Okay.
I think his hand was just up.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Don't panic with it, guys. Just try to take it step by step. It's okay. No need to apologize. Kabani, you absolutely can. I just want to give everyone a chance, but I will call on you. Oh, well, actually, I'm going to let Tashfiwa answer because you've already answered for today. Okay. It's not because I don't love you. I love you dearly. Okay, let's go.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, so I first took out a common in the first bracket.
Beautiful. And what did you take out?
Which was 3x.
Nice.
And then I was left with x plus 2.
Good. Nice.
Then, ma'am, I took out a common in the second bracket, which was 4.
Good.
And I was left with x plus 2.
Good. Next step.
Then I took out common brackets, which was x plus 2.
Beautiful.
And then, ma'am, I grouped the last two, which was 3x plus 4.
Yay! Well done.
Well
Excellent.
done.
Good, 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 good. Okay, who ended up getting this question right? Let me know. Or who found it easy? 10 is I found it nice and easy and I got it right. 0 is I hated it completely. Let me know how this question went.
Wait, this is
Good.
a billion.
Okay.
Oh,
and remember, if you're not getting it right, don't panic. It'll just take time. We'll get there. Okay, cool. All right, let's try. Oh, no, that one we've done. Let's try this guy over here. I'm not going to help.
Ma'am.
Hi.
Hi, can you please go back up? I just have to correct it, please.
Sure, no problem. There it is.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, hello.
Ma'am, how do you know which ones to group? Do you just group the first term and the second one?
Yeah, so your first attempt, group the first two and then the second two. And if you don't get a common bracket, then group 1 and 3 and 2 and 4.
Okay, ma'am.
But only last case scenario do that. Okay. All right, give this one a try. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Exactly, Sia, you will soon get it. It just takes practice. And remember, some of you wouldn't have done this in class yet. So this is like the first time you're seeing it. And when you see it in class, it'll be like you're seeing it for the second time and you're going to be like, oh, that makes so much sense. And everything will start coming together and it will be good. Great. Yes, Canva, you can absolutely do it. And let's just give everyone 1 more minute, okay? Okay, Canva, take it away.
So, ma'am, you take out, on the first one, you take out the common factor, which is Q.
Good.
Open bracket, 3P.
Good.
That is
Close
good.
bracket,
Okay.
which is the
Yeah,
common
that's
factor.
great.
Bracket, 3P plus 1, close bracket. Then at the bottom, you say 3P plus 1, close bracket, open another bracket, K plus 2, Q plus 2.
Beautiful. Excellent. Nice job, Canva. So our first line, we have Q and then we have 3P plus 1. So we took out our highest common factor and then we took out our highest common factor of 2 of the second term. And we took out then in our last step here, we took our highest common brackets and then we wrote with what we have left. Nice job. Do you see, guys, how maths everything builds? So all the factorizing we did last year, it's all coming back now. That's why it's so important that we work hard each year, because everything builds on each other. Good. Who else got this? Ashlyn, I'm so happy because you were struggling earlier. That's great. I'm very proud of you. Well done. Excellent, excellent. Who else landed up getting this question right? Sinclair, the Q was the highest common factor because that's the only thing that I can take out of both of those two terms. Nice job, guys. Yeah, how can I help?
Ma'am, let's say the answer didn't work out, and you didn't have a common bracket.
Yeah.
You're gonna have you're gonna have to change your grouping from the top.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if you had worked it out and you didn't get a highest common bracket, then you try and group something else.
Okay, ma'am. So, okay.
Okay. We'll get
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
Don't panic. We'll get there. Guys, we actually do need to, this is the last question we know we can do tonight though, because we need to get you onto your quiz because it's Thursday and Thursday is our quiz day. So Mr. Shongwe is going to share the link for the quiz in the chat down at the bottom. And then you need to just click on it and make sure you can get into the quiz. If anyone is new here today, just ask us for help if you're struggling. And into Watobe in order to access the quiz. Ashlyn and I promise on Tuesday at the beginning of the lesson, I'll put two grouping questions. So we will spend like the first 15, 20 minutes on grouping on Tuesday. Don't panic.